All right, guys, I'm here today with the one and only mobile gamer. What's up, my guy?
Hello there.
Today we're going to talk about Morgan Le Fay coming to the game. Not necessarily the Scourge events, just how we feel about what she's going to bring to the game, an arena team, and the other aspects that she brings with her. So, what are your first impressions?
I mean, the first thing is like, wow, she's going to be the next legendary, and you're talking about the kit or the unlock method. I think most of my concerns were the unlock method, but I don't think this video is about. But the kit looks very powerful. Looks like it's going to be very good, and not only just arena, but everywhere, right? I mean, very little of her kit is tied just to arena. They slated it for arena team. So what's in the rest of the characters? We have 3 unknown characters, and a rework of Scarlet Witch. And regardless of the outcome and how that plays out, one thing that I'm not a fan of Infinity Watch versus Infinity Watch or Black Order versus Black Order. It's just kind of garbage and boring and meaningless. There's nothing worse than logging into a match and knowing exactly how it's going to play out exactly every single time for months. And that is my worry, and that hasn't played out yet. We don't know that. But I actually very much like the current arena meta. I look at the team and it's like, all right, I need to bring Cable, Emma, Zemo to beat that team. And I'm looking at the next team and I was like, that team right there, I need Emma, Cable, Doom. Everyone is a little bit different. I mean, and the matches are short, right? How long are the matches? Like a minute tops? 30 seconds sometimes.
Yeah.
And I prefer that. So I'm worried that, and this just seems like we just got Cersei and Icarus, right? And like, I don't feel like it's been that long and it's already getting changed out for something new. It seems like the turnover is a little bit faster than I would have thought.
Yeah, it's a little scary. They do kind of hint that we might still have room for theory crafting when they say in this last line here, you'd be wise to accompany her with characters with speed. So she's really good with Dark Hunters, but they kind of say there's going to be room for non-cookie cutter hybrids, which I think is what you're getting at, which I would like. I know a lot of people about to unlock Dormammu that are kind of shaking their heads like, I'm just about to get this guy and Arena's already shifting him out. Do you think that because he's Mystic, and her kit really does kind of spell out anti-Dormammu with the it's clear and then puts disrupt, apply disrupt, it's her first attack, clears immunity. Do you think she's going to just negate any kind of Dormammu use, or possibly with her team, is Dormammu going to have a home?
It's hard to say. I actually would prefer the latter, that that players will get a way to use Dormammu with her, but I'm not sure that that's going to happen. It depends on how heavily the synergies they go on the other 3 characters. I mean, at this point, worst case scenario is that the 3 characters all say, Darkhold this, Darkhold that, on arena only.
Yeah.
It must have 4 Darkhold enemies. I really hope they don't do that. Because nothing would be more exciting than to get some value out of. There you go. You're right there. Nothing would be more exciting to get some value out of Dormammu, and I find it just kind of weird that they could be negating the value of Dormammu in arena early. Now, I think Dormammu is going to have insane value in Cosmic Crucible. We both just did the Cosmic Crucible playtest, and I personally could see Dormammu winning or losing, winning your entire match because, one player having him, one not having him. I mean, it could come down to that because of the efficiency point system could get just Dormammu could throw that off, right? And so I think there's still going to be a lot of value for Dormammu there, but arena remains to be seen.
Yeah, exactly. His efficiency, how he's going to affect that scoring method in the Cosmic Crucible. If you have him and your enemy doesn't, you're really kind of tanking that scoring section for your enemy right away in Cosmic Crucible. So I do think Dormammu's still going to be fine, and obviously he's going to be great in war. He's going to win a Blitz team. Good on that. So he's going to have room. I kind of like this. I kind of like what she brings because it's like you said, not a lot of her stuff is tied behind arena. So as a solo player, solo character, what do you think she's going to do? Like, is she going to mix up the war meta as well with all this turn meter against Mystic characters? So you can use her in war against Dormammu, against Eternals. There's a couple Mystic characters in the Heroes for Hire matchup. What do you think?
Right. Well, I mean, Scopely has gone out of their way to make legendary characters to be useful outside of their team. We've seen that with Shuri, a certain lesser extent Phoenix, but but even now we're seeing Omega Red is a great example of a great character, right? That guy that gets good use outside of his team, right? He's very good, very strong without his team, and so she looks like she's that type of character. Even Adam Warlock, we're getting use out of Adam Warlock in Arena right now. Who would have thought? I thought Adam Warlock was a garbage legendary when I first played him, and in fact, my first I wasn't even sure if he made the Infinity Watch team better initially. Like he was probably one of the weaker legendaries, and now I'm seeing the value of him in RTA. I think she looks like on paper that she's going to be that character that she does feel legendary, and that she will have a place, like Doc Ock does. Doc Ock gets used by himself, and I think that she will also be like that. She does feel legendary, and we don't have all of her kit. We don't know how much of her basic attack applies to assists and counterattacks because we don't have the safety mechanic. We also don't know her speed or her health pool. Those are big things, right? There's a lot that's unknown.
Yeah, for sure. So we both agree. She looks like she's going to be a very interesting character. Excited? Fair to say that you're excited to see how it's going to shake things up?
I'm more, and I know this video is not about it, but the controversy of her unlock method has got me more worried about than anything else. And I guess a lot of people are also like looking at this kit, like, what does it mean to me if I can't get her unlocked? Like, what do I care? And the unlock method is so convoluted and uncertain on how that's going to play out. Plus, it looks like it's going to be, they're going to be able, because it's a leaderboard, they're going to be able to say, hey, we only want X number of players to get her unlocked. I mean, they could say, they could actually assign a number and say 1,500 people or 2,000 people or 500 people, whatever that number is. I don't know. They can. And in the past, when they created legendary events, I always kind of kidded. They have like a target number of players that they wanted it to be unlocked, and so they built the unlock requirements around that, where they said, that you have to get this character, and I think Phoenix at 6 stars, Villain Mystic Controller was the best example of that, right? Where it was such a wonky, like literally somebody on a spreadsheet just picked out the Villain Mystic Controller because only X number of players can unlock it. Well, they finally like tipped their hand to that by making it a leaderboard where they can actually very mathematically decide how many players are going to get her the first time around. And it's an auction. Who's going to play the game mode the most, and who's going to spend the most on Web Warrior and Dark Hunters. I mean, it's pretty much an auction at this point.
Yeah, and like you say, even buying the offers isn't enough. You're going to have to go ahead and use them and build them up. Speaking of building them up, how are you feeling on your resources right now? Your SBCs, your minis, Origins? I imagine you're okay now with the new challenges they put in.
Yeah, I was really, and I know you're struggling with SBCs, and that is a significant bottleneck. There's so many bottlenecks in this game. I was really hitting a 14 mini bottleneck, but that was because I was hoarding the gear, so I wasn't opening the War Orb 1, right? There was the War Orb 2, War Orb 1, and we were waiting for a teal orb, right? Instead of, and a good percentage of my 14s were coming from the War Store currency, and I've just been hoarding it, and so I kind of just took that as like I created this bottleneck myself because I rather wait to see what they're going to do with the teal War Orb, right? But SBCs is still a problem, and they seem to come in clumps. There's only so many you can farm a day, and I know what is there, like 7 nodes? There's more than 5 nodes, right? 5 nodes for SBCs.
Yeah,
I don't know how many there's. I think it's
Doom campaign, and then I believe there's one in Nexus, Hero, and I think there's 7.
I think there's 7, yeah. And that is a bottleneck, and I think it's a good bottleneck because otherwise everybody have everything maxed out right away. And it's kind of weird to think of that like that way, but it does, and it kind of slows us down. And SBC, the problem with SBCs that I'm having is they come in clumps, and if you hit that SBC bottleneck, you're pretty much forced into buying the 2 battle passes because there is a chunk of them in there. And I know that I would like to say that this, the RTA one is garbage, but there's just so much orange gear in there, and they recently bumped it up a little bit on the orange and the teal. And the teal not as much as I thought they should, but they did on the orange quite a bit.
Yeah, in my alliance, we joke that is the Marvel Strike Force tax. If you're going to play in our alliance, that's the tax you have to pay to keep up with these new teams. Speaking of new teams, again, she's Mystic. We know she's going with Scarlet Witch. We don't know the other three. I'm going to say it's safe-ish to assume there's going to be at least one more Mystic character with them. How you doing on Mystic gear after building Dark Hunters? Any regrets on building them up?
I had my Dark Hunters pretty well built up, and I didn't have a hard time with Doctor Voodoo. So frankly, I had an abundance of gear. And I didn't check my levels, but I'm pretty sure that Morbius is going to probably take whatever I have left. But you got to do what you got to do. How else are you going to get her without that? Plus, the team, for me, and the way that I play the game and the way that I enjoy playing the game is largely Alliance War. Dark Hunters is not an optional team for me. Yeah. Like I'm going hard on them. Like they're going to go to Blue ISO 3, probably gear tier 14, like right away, and I'm gonna try to get as many, at least 5 yellow and as many reds as possible. And they're gonna be fully, boosted up, and I'm excited to play them. And it is what it is. I don't feel like I have an option like to lesser stand. I feel like I had an option with Ravagers. I had an option with Young Avengers. Like I could figure like I could do it at my pace. But Dark Hunters doesn't seem optional. And if that means running into a Mystic gear crunch, I mean, it's very much intentional that they unlock, like they do a whole bunch of brawlers in a row, or they do a whole bunch of mutants in a row. They do these to deplete your resources so that you have like an artificial bottleneck. And if you want to speed up Mystic, well, then you just have to, it is what it is.
Yeah, like you, this Dark Hunters team wasn't really a skippable team, even though an arena team is around the corner. Dark Hunters for me and you we had to have it to make our war matches possible. So like you, no regrets there. I'm very excited to play with the full Dark Hunter team. Just randomly, what are you hoping for not, Morbius? Red Star.
What about Red Star 5? Yeah, I'd like to get 5 on him. Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to open up my I have, we all have that Elite 7 lying around. I imagine a lot of people have an Elite 7 lying around right now. They haven't removed minions from the 6s and the 7s, so I'm not really excited to open anything until at least that happens.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. All right, guys, well, that is our talk on Morgan and how she's going to affect the game and kind of what else she affects in the game resource world. So thank you, Mr. Mobile, for joining me. And as always, guys, stay happy, healthy, have fun. Mr. Mobile, you have anything you'd like to say?
Nope, I'm good.
All right, guys, bye.